Hey everybody, welcome to a little short video, and we're looking at old buildings here. This is a lovely one in Hyde Park, New York. It's the old insane asylum. Yeah, this is a old world looking construction. It's beautifully built. They don't make them like they used to. Unfortunately, this is happening to it. It's going to ruin, and it's truly a shame that this is occurring. It's you know, built in a style of old world kind of uh, brickwork, and that is now over here in Kingston, and we're looking at mud flood possible evidence. You can see that there's windows underground. Uh, these road sides are always on a slant, and they're always coming down alongside a building, and the buildings show evidence of having a lower floor that was, once had windows or evidence of it having been flooded and dug out. And here's another building in Kingston, New York, and love that stonework. But here you have this new road level that is up against the building there. You can see it, and it steeply drops off. And the side view, you can see it coming up here. You'll see the backside of the building. Well, that door still on the front. Really some beautiful detail in the construction in these older buildings. And there long lost techniques. That's some lovely. Now, I don't know if that's carved stone or if that's molded concrete, but in any event, lovely construction. That's what I meant earlier. That's this lower side. It comes down by steps from the street, and you can see that there is this door there, and I show the little cupola there. That's just for the building. It's the corner of the building that we were looking at, still there on the left. But here we are, we're back to it, and there you can see these ground level, the parking lots coming right up to these windows that they've had to protect from various weather events. And it doesn't make sense to build these, have these lovely windows below grade. Yeah, you can see the impracticality of, exposing the earth and foundation, it's not making sense to construct it like that. So there's the good idea of how there's like an old window and new windows. So they've modified these buildings as a result of some event that has happened in the past that I'm not, sure is fully reported. Here you go again. Here's another part of town, or it might be the same building. Going down steps to a lower door below the grade of the street. Here, this is a little parking area. Look at that. I mean, there are clearly old windows and things that have been that go below grade. And another brick building here, and you can see this beautifully, brickwork for a window, and that window is below grade. This, I think, is the old Senate building in Kingston. We're still in Kingston here. And look at the beautiful stonework. This was really well thought out stuff. Not just slapped together. This is also another very old building in a different part of the old part of Kingston that we were just looking at. And again, you got windows right against the parking lot. It used to be a brick building. Then they put some kind of coating on it, and then they put vinyl on it. So it's all hodgepodge. But here in the backside, where the parking lot is, it comes. The door is down below the grade a little bit. You have to step down to get in. And moving on to the same neighborhood, but this is the old firehouse. And at one time, it had horse-drawn fire trucks. And this is some of that building, or a related building, and they bricked up all of the lower floors there from I guess a change of use maybe. and another brick factory from 1700s maybe, early 1800s. Beautiful windows there, and again the proportions are a little interesting. Didn't really spend a lot of time on that building. This is the Senate House in Kingston, and this building is another curious one. See, there's that ground level stuff, and you've got this protected grade over a sunken window, and they call them basement windows, but again, that's not really something that would be desired, especially in those days. There you go, going down the steps to get in. Look at that. And a new door, a rampway. You see, there's these little hints that this isn't the original. That's a rededication there on their building. I read a little bit about it. There was a sign, and they had done a lot of work on that building. Okay, another part of Kingston. This is another old building, and there you go. The door is very close. There's windows below, bricks, meeting up with the stonework of the sidewall, and very odd. Very, very odd. You have more windows, and a lot of them. It's building after building after building. I'm finding with this kind of scenario. There's the tilt. The ground is on a slant always. You can see it in that bottom window. There's the grade is indicative of a flow. All right, so the flow is always going downhill. This is in the Ashokan Reservoir area. And this is the old mill. There was a mill on the Esopus. I think it's the Esopus that drains out. And those are big rocks, by the way. Those are like 2 or 3 feet wide and 1.5, 2 feet high. Those are some big blocks, even bigger than that. And this is such masterful masonry work that these guys were affecting in the colonial era. And this is early 1700s construction, maybe even late 1600s. Could be, I doubt it, but certainly early 1700s. And that area there we're looking at had the water wheel. All right, so here's just a dilapidated old house, but it's probably, early 1800s. And this is Catskill, New York now. And another brick, the red brick, it's everywhere. And red brick is quite ancient. The Sumerians had red brick, 8,000 years ago. So this is an old recipe that's still viable and lasts a long time. Here you go. Here's the grade of a street going down the side wall. And do we have any evidence of windows? Yes, we do. You can see it. We'll get a close-up here, I think, soon. And this one for sure does. Very, very distinctive. There you can see the impressions of the old windows that got bricked up, and clearly they had a different level or grade line at one time. Another fantastic old building. The main street of Catskill, New York has got some really, really lovely old architecture, and this is curious because the emblems up there, you can see there was some lettering there. I can see an S, but it's been scraped down. They rub this stuff off and they can put new ones up. They can change dates if they want, maybe, who knows. But look at that, incredible details of these old buildings. They did this with less technology and more skill. Let's put it that way. There you go. Here's an older foundation with a repurposed, perhaps, a brick above it, and there's the grade. There's always that grade, that's slanting hillock of a road, and pretty little house there, and that's right on Main Street in Catskill. Lovely, look at the ornate carpentry involved with just a small home. Here's a little red brick, and I got this because of the round window at the very top and the peak. Some people used to think they would put clocks in those and stuff, but that's an old world feature, and columns is an old world classical kind of feature. That's an old brick house, And this one's, a little bit more modern of a building. I think it's either a bank or a school or something. I think it's a bank. And it's, for some reason, it's got 1886 on one side, and on the right, 1930 up there on this very interesting looking old building. And that's a big old castle on top of a mountain overlooking the Hudson and Catskill. And another fantastic old brick house. And the slate, it's either slate or shingle work there. Such artistry. And I took a picture of these details just to give us an idea of, the rich talent and effort that went into these really fantastic old buildings. There's a classical Greeks thing going on there. And one would wonder, why was there that interest? Okay, Catspan Church. And can I see a date? Not clearly. A little bit of history on that sign there, I reckon. But this is sort of north of Saugerties, near the Hudson River. And it's got some interesting features. There's that grade. It seems to be on a hill always. The road seems to be a little bit disproportionately close to the bottoms of these windows. And the way they have got the ramp going up to the door. It's just all very curious. Maybe not so much mud flood. Maybe that was the way it was built, or maybe there is, these windows are a little close to the ground. I'm not sure. I didn't get inside the building, so I don't know what's going on in there. I'd love to get inside some of these old buildings, especially things like this. Again, that's very much old world, and there's a lot of that red brick again, and we'll get some interesting details shortly here. Look at the way that overhang, the little rain fly. That's where the carriage doors were for the horseless, or the horse and buggy carriages, not the horseless carriage. A little confusion. All right, so I did this view so that we can get an idea of the scale of this chimney, and the symbols on it. All right, that belongs to somebody, and I'm not sure. I'm seeing an S and a P and a B, perhaps. Very, very. With this symbol here, is that a date? I've never seen a number drawn like that, so that's very odd. And something was cleaned off. Something was scraped off, and there it is again. There's the whole image. Those two images together. So some, again, very beautiful work done in these buildings. That's a little long view of the building there, and it's very Gothic. Is it Victorian? Is it Edwardian? Hard to say, but it's certainly built in a fashion, and that had a lot more, ornate qualities. And those porches are beautiful. Never ever see anybody on porches anymore. And that's some nice brickwork there, a little chimney going up, and the turret-looking spire there. And that's a side angle. That's a very stately view of that building. Really, the way they have it positioned, the way the sun catches it. Now this is a really cool ruin. And that's our last image for now. Like I said, this was just a quick one, and we'll hopefully we'll be making more of these mud flood videos as I get out there and do a little bit more exploring. And look at that. We wanted to get inside that, but the owner was very unhappy with us being there, so he kicked us out. But I did get a nice, good shot. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And be well. See ya.